Well, let's get more now on our top story. Syria has rejected claims it was behind the gas attack on the rebel-held Idlib province, which killed 70 people, including many children. The Turkish Justice Minister has said autopsy results from Idlib show that chemical weapons were used, while medical experts have said some victims had symptoms consistent with nerve agents like sarin. Well, I'm joined now from Coventry by Dr. Martin Nieuwenhuis, a chemical weapons expert at Warwick University. Good afternoon to you. We've had the denials from Syria. We've heard from the Syrian foreign minister saying that they've neither used chemicals in the past and have no intentions of using chemicals. It is, of course, illegal, but we know that it still happens.
Indeed, it's a tragedy what has happened, but since the Ghouta attacks in 2013, there have been reports of usage of at least chlorine in several instances already. So this is not unprecedented, but it is a continuation of a series of events already. It's of course a much graver issue, because it is not chlorine, but what seems to be sarin or perhaps another toxic that has been used.
And how would a nation go about hiding chemical weapons like sarin? Because we know in the past there have been inspections where these chemicals have been handed over to international inspectors, but it seems that they can be, a certain amount can be concealed.
Well, first we have to understand, of course, there's a difference in terms of chemicals that are used, that are classified as such by the OPCW, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Chlorine, for instance, is not banned under international law for the simple reason that it can be stockpiled in households even. Sarin isn't a banned substance, so are other forms of chemical weapons. So there is a difference in terms of the classification of chemical weapons to start with. Having said that, yes, Syria acceded to the Chemical Conventions Treaty of 1993 back in 2013 and had to comply as such. Effectively, all weapons that were listed in 2014 were thereafter destroyed. However, the fact with chemical weapons is that they can be easily assembled. We're talking about simple chemical formula. However, there is a discrepancy in its use of making and its distribution and dissemination of chemical weapons that needs and requires sophisticated and advanced operational mechanisms such as airplanes.
And historically, can you sort of take us through how chemical weapons are deployed? Because there are those observers today saying that President Assad does have the upper hand. What really is the reason for using this at all on his own people?
Well, this is very difficult to say, but the use of chemical weapons lies not so much in its destructive, its lethal nature. It lies more in its terrifying consequences and its representation in popular imaginations of such weapons. It's the very fact that what these weapons do is take away literally your breath. So what they do is they use the environment against the user of the environment, in this case the breather, literally taking your breath away, as I said. Therefore, it mostly has a psychological effect on people's imaginations, rather than so much a lethal capacity to kill. Of course it kills, it has historically killed, but it is predominantly the psychological effects that lead to that have an effect on people.
The Syrian government are saying that they're giving a few explanations as to why the attack could not have been carried out by them. They're saying that an aerial attack of this type of chemical would have covered a much larger area, and therefore that couldn't be consistent with an attack by the Syrian government.
Well, what has to be done clearly, and what has been already argued for by physicians around the world, is an independent research needs to be undertaken, in which we will be able to collect biological samples, blood, urine, etc., from the victims in order to determine what has caused the effects of the attack. But at the moment, it's very difficult to say without empirical knowledge of the ground to determine what exactly has happened and who is to blame for what has happened.
Well, the Turkish government have carried out post-mortems, and they're certainly confirming that the use of chemicals has been deployed. Syria, on the other hand, is saying that the chemicals are coming in from Iran and Turkey, and it's really their estimation that it's the terrorists who are using the chemicals.
This is of course a political discourse which is yet to be determined. It is at the moment it is very difficult to say. Seemingly because of the continuation of the use of chemical weapons by the Assad regime, it seems likely, plausible that it was indeed the Syrian regime. But we will have to wait for further evidence on the ground to see what has led to this chemical attack. And of course it is indeed sarin. It seems to be sarin, if not another similar toxin, perhaps even more lethal, more dangerous than sarin, that have caused that have led to this tragedy.
Okay, Dr. Martin Nieuwenhuis, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.